Hi everyone, my name is Deepti. Welcome back to my channel, a place where you can learn at your own pace. So in today's video, we are going to focus on the writing section, task 1 of the academic module. And the task that we are going to talk about is a process diagram. So let's start. A process diagram would look something like this. So in this task, we are talking about manufacturing of noodles. And these are instant noodles. So what we see here is how the process happens, how it takes place. So we can see a few things like first the flour is stored, then it goes to the mixer where water oil is added, and then it finally enters a stage where it is labeled and sealed. So this is the whole process, and you will find some describing words which will show you how the process is moving from one step to another here. This is what your task would look like. The diagram below shows how instant noodles are manufactured. You have to summarize the information. You have to select and report main features and make relevant comparisons. So more or less, you'll see that your task remains the same as just the question here, or the topic here that would keep changing. Otherwise, you have to select and report the main features and make relevant comparisons. Please remember to stick to the word limit, 150 words. This is the minimum limit. There is no maximum limit. Okay. So let's proceed and see what more we have. So it's a template that you can use for the process diagram. So in the first paragraph, you are going to talk about what is the diagram about. So here it is talking about how instant noodles are manufactured. Then you write an overview in which you can talk about how many stages and what is the raw material used, what are the final products that you get. Also in the last two paragraphs, you will write more details about what has the process been, what have been the different stages involved in the process, and if relevant comparisons are there, then you will even talk about that. Then let's see how you can plan it. So writing an overview is very important in any task, and here it becomes all the more important because many students complain that it is just a sequence of stages. So how do we write an overview? So it is basically, you have to see what are the number of steps. Let's say the number of steps are 4 or 8 or 10 in all, so that you can always count. Then what are the first and the last steps? Obviously, you can write in brief about those two, and write what is the end result, what is the product that you receive at the end of the procedure. So if you put these 3 points in the overview, which is the second paragraph, your overview will be good enough. Grammar becomes a little important aspect here, because when you look at task 1 and specifically talking about the process diagram, we don't always write all the sentences in active voice. We have to use passive voice here. Now, sometimes you may know who is doing the action that is being shown, but sometimes it may not be possible. Like sometimes you may see a human being doing an action or a machine performing an action, and sometimes you may not know. So passive voice becomes very crucial here, because that is the importance of passive voice when you're not sure of the person or the object that is performing the action. So when we look at the active or the passive voice constructions, how they are different. So let's look at this example. Each row house collects rainwater. So now here, when you look at the term collects, it is talking about active voice. So this is active and this is simple present. Okay. And the collected rainwater is then passed along. So is passed along. So here we are using is, which is a helping verb, and we are using the participle. So whenever you have a helping verb like is, am, are, when you're talking of the present, and was or were when you're talking about the past, and if you have the participle form of the verb. So in this case, we have a passive voice sentence constructed. Okay, so this is something which you need to practice to ace this particular task. Then when you have a relative clause, so the importance of word which you will find here. So after which, now here which actually refers to the whole stage. Milk is pasteurized. So this whole stage, which refers to this. So after this thing happens, it is bottled or packed in Tetra Paks. Okay. Now, if you look at these sentences also, is and the participle, is and the participle. So that is the importance of passive voice as far as grammar is concerned. A process diagram has multiple stages. Each stage involves one action or the other. Because of the variety of actions, we also need variety of verbs. So in these two slides, I have consolidated a list of verbs that will be useful for you. Please go through these and as per the requirement of the task, use verbs accordingly. Now, there is this aspect of coherence and cohesion that we are talking about. When we say coherence and cohesion, they are extremely important because without having the sentences and the paragraphs tied together, we cannot reach a holistic write-up. And as you all know, I'm putting up the link here. What is the importance of coherence and cohesion in the overall grading of your essay? Please check that out. I will also put that link in the description box. So when you look at the first set here, it talks about firstly, secondly, finally, which means how to begin. So when you are starting to write, so around in the first description para. So in the first para where you describe, this is how you can start. That to begin with, initially in the first stage, that is how you can start this. Then in between, obviously, as we saw, there are multiple steps involved. So we can go with following this step, at this stage, at this point, from this point, in the subsequent stage. So these kinds of phrases can be used. Once it has been, and then you will add a verb to it. That is another way of putting the consequent steps that are coming. Okay. Then when you are supposed to terminate or write the last sentence, or when you have come to the end of the process, you can use words like finally, in the last stage, or the end results. So this is the beginning of the process, and this is the end of the process. So this is how these are a few words, phrases that you can use in order to make your whole write-up look more coherent and cohesive. I hope you found these strategies useful. So don't forget to like my video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and press the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you're interested in taking online classes, one-to-one sessions, you can contact me on Instagram or Facebook.